So welcome to the ASX Speed webinar. Welcome to the ASX Speed webinar for Monday, the 20th of April, 2015. Well, the picture is an oldie but a goodie. I had to bring up an old webinar PowerPoint, full stop new line. But that's what the US stock market has been doing. It's been jumping up and down like these guys in their kangaroo suits, full stop new line. They're jumping up and down in the same spot and not getting higher and not getting lower, full stop new line. Over the past few days, we've seen the US stock market sell off, and they said it was ostensibly because there was a communications breakdown or because Europe was selling off because Greece was being mentioned as the word. What we do know is that Fridays have been doing strange things. They push to an extreme price and then they sell off or buy it aggressively. So they push it to a new high or push it to a new low, full stop new line. And on Monday, if they've pushed it to a new high, then they sell it on Monday. And then if they've pushed it to a new low, they buy it on Monday in our time, full stop new line. Julie is saying it's options expiry, full stop new line. And yes, I believe the third Friday of the month is an options expiry as well. So that's all pretty big reasons for some sort of stupid move, full stop new line. Sarah is saying that index options expire this week and last week was stock options, full stop new line. What we do know is that it's reporting season in the US and that the US has made some important technical signs of distribution and weakness, full stop new line. So what we do know is that if tonight and Tuesday night are weak nights, in the US, then the US stock market is starting a decent decline, full stop new line. If they buy the US stock market today, then it would be all right. Okay, Sarah's saying that stock options expiry was this week, and last week was index options. There's the third Friday is an expiry. There's actually technically, Sarah, okay. Let's not split the infinitive. There was some sort of option expiries. So the important thing is if it passes tonight, passes through tonight, then it, on the weak side, then we've got an indication of not so goodness. So in the meantime, let's look at the Australian stock market and see where we're at. XAO.ASX, XAO.ASX, all ordinaries, new line. We can see that the all ordinaries seems to be opening a little bit weaker this morning, full stop, new line. And it is sitting on support. A further push below 58.27 puts it looking down towards that 56.50 area that I have been mentioning as a possible target, full stop, new line. You'll notice there is a lot of weakness in the MACD, and you'll notice there is a lack of follow through. So while the trend line up has broken, there is still a bit of support lower down that it needs to break in the next 20 points to make it wash out properly, full stop, new line. It would also be very helpful if the US stock market starts to fall down properly instead of just pretending to stay up like the Goldman Sachs of the world would like you to think, full stop, new line. XJO.ASX, new line. Same story, a little bit weaker than the XAO.ASX, full stop, new line. So the pain is being felt a little bit more in the bigger stocks. Full stop, new line. So it's probably the banks that are having the problems, and the miners are probably going to help, full stop, new line. Yes, markets, definitely lots of lower tops coming in, and third lower tops on the US, full stop, new line. Again, we would expect down towards 56.50 or thereabouts as a decline target for this if it can continue to keep rolling, full stop, new line. Right now, it is nudging the bottom of the cloud, and if we got a reversal above 58.93, then we start to say all bets are off. The bear is not yet in place, full stop, new line. But I like the idea of it going lower, full stop, new line. Currently, we are sitting on a large proportion of unchanged SMSF exposure to the stock market, which is lower than we would have liked before, but now it's becoming something we're more approving of. And it's been tough waiting it out for the last really 2 months, as everybody else has been incredibly bullish for stock new line. Anyway, hopefully we'll start to see it rolling properly, but it's really decided Tuesday our time whether that is happening. We'll stop new line. We have bear pause warnings in the following Australian shares. New line. ORG.ASX, Origin Energy. And currently we can see that it's got a bit of a double top, but it's just underneath. So if you are long this, maybe have your stop loss below $12.39 and see what happens. We'll stop new line. STO.ASX, new line. I did warn about Santos being close to an old top and around the target area. I think it was up around $8.46 was the target area. This is in bear pause warnings. It was nice to see the volume. So it probably comes back down towards $7.52. We have bullhorns warnings in the following Australian shares. AMC.ASX, new line. If you did buy it when I said it was a bullhorns warning, it's time to sell out now or have a stop loss below $14.25. Full stop new line. CBA.ASX, new line. This is very much showing weakness. It's fallen through the bottom of the cloud and heading towards $88.43 or that $87.80 that I have mentioned as a price target. Full stop new line. It has been quite weak. Full stop new line. MIG.ASX, MIGME Limited. For the life of me, I've never heard of this stock and I don't know why I'm getting a scan on it, but it's quite weak, even though it's got bullhorns warnings, and I'd probably think more of it if it was down around the 50 cents area. Yes, I'm talking about bullhorns warnings now, can. TLS.ASX, new line. TLS.ASX, new line. This continues to be weak and on high volume, so I will ignore this bullhorn's warnings. Full stop, new line. So it's interesting what's happening. Full stop, new line. XFJ.ASX, new line. Financials index are not having fun, and it's on tenterhooks at the moment. I would imagine it's lower. It's just broken it down. It's down, and a further push below 6,900. We remember my target that I had around this area. At 69.55 has been broken, and the next target is 69.34. Which has also been broken. Full stop, new line. The upshot is this is a weak market in the financials. Full stop, new line. The weakness has come a little bit earlier than I had expected, and it seems like offshore players who give no thought or care to being paid dividends are probably getting out of the banks. Full stop, new line. And now the Australian general public is holding on to the banks in the hope of a dividend next week, which they will get. Full stop, new line. They will have a buffer, but that will not be good for them. Full stop, new line. ANZ.ASX, new line. Investors time frame, Colin. We're getting very close to breaking down last month's low at $34.90. Full stop, new line. I did mention that $35 was an important point for support. If it got down here, you might want to try and buy something. Full stop, new line. So if you want a dagger catch right now, you could do so with a stop loss at $34.60 for an LPHR. Full stop, new line. Intermediate time frame, Colin. Well, you don't see that every day, Ollie. Full stop, new line. We see a price gap down in the weekly chart. Full stop, new line. Last week's volume was negative, so your LPHR is probably going to be stocked out, but if you do buy it, you can keep a tight stop loss and expect a rally back up to $35.45, $39.45. I was right the first time. Sam is saying because the jobs numbers came out on Thursday and we added over 35,000 jobs, therefore they're saying that there is no chance of a rate cut in May. Full stop, new line. Traders time frame, Colin. On the traders time frame, if you are wanting to take that dagger catch / LPHR, which stands for low probability, high reward trade, stop me line. Your stop would be at $34.80. You'll be buying it around now, hoping for a rally towards $35. And 40 cents. Full stop me line. CBA.ASX, new line. Investors time frame, Colin. This is still not breaking down yet. It's not more in a congestion area, and as I said, we'll get some support around the end of this month and early May as the other banks divest themselves of dividends. And then CBA will come into the frame as important. Full stop me line. It still has a target down to $87.86. And if it does rally, you would expect it to get back up towards $92.60 for overhead resistance. Full stop your line. So if you are an investor, and wanting to buy some CBA, you might wait down for $87.86. Full stop your line. Intermediate time frame, Colin. On the weekly chart, we see increasing volume. So you'd only get excited about buying CBA on a longer term above $95 and on a medium term above $94.09. Full stop your line. The stop loss, if long, intermediate term, needs to be probably around that $90.10. Full stop your line. Most things are pointing negative on this. Traders time frame, Colin. $91.69 comes up as an important level on this that you might want to think to buy at night with a stop at $91.20. And yet today it has blown through that, and so it is now weaker than we'd like to see. So the best option is sitting on your hands and maybe thinking about ANZ, full stop, new line. NAB.ASX, new line. Investors time frame, Colin. We still see this holding up a bit better than the other banks on this time frame, full stop, new line. It's not performing fantastically in the short term, but in the longer run, it's still okay, full stop, new line. If you are in the longer term time frame, then maybe have a stop loss at $37 just to be tighter, full stop, new line. Intermediate time frame, Colin. We also see a gap down on the weekly chart, which is a little bit disturbing, and we see heavy volume on the downside from last week as well, full stop, new line. So on the intermediate time frame, if you are not already out, then have your stop loss at $38, full stop, new line. Traders time frame, Colin. We see a breakdown below the Kijun line, and lurking a little bit lower would be the $37.73 for buying this if you wanted to buy it. At the moment, I don't think you need to walk in very aggressively there unless it's close to dividend payment time, which is in another week or a week and a half, I believe, full stop, new line. So in general, the banks aren't looking that flash, full stop, new line. I have noticed quite a few more properties around in the eastern suburbs with either auction sales out the front of them or for sale signs out the front of them. Full stop, no line. For sale means they've probably gone to auction and the greedy vendors have not got the price that they salivated over. Full stop, new line. Sadly, in this world of low interest rates, things do go up very quickly, but they also get speculative bubbles and disappear in prices very quickly down as well. Full stop, new line. Cam is saying in South Yarra there are plenty now for sale. So the property market is a bit more loose than it was before in Sydney and Melbourne. Full stop, new line. And that's possibly because it's now gone into the regions. It's like the small cap stocks getting better after a bull run where the big cap stocks have stopped. Full stop, new line. Things change quickly when they change, and we're probably not ready enough for them mentally when that happens. Full stop, new line. WBC.ASX, new line. Investors time frame, Colin. Still one of the preferred banks on this time frame. Full stop, new line. Intermediate time frame, Colin. On this time frame, it's had a pretty serious gap down, and it will have heavy resistance towards $38.80 if it gets back up there. Full stop, new line. Volume also was heavy last week, so on this time frame, it's back off and maybe wait for $36 on the downside at the extreme, or $37.14. Full stop, new line. Traders time frame, Colin. $38 is the place to wait. If you did try a dagger catch today, then simply have a stop loss below $38.40. Full stop, new line. There are other anecdotal evidence that rentals are becoming weaker at the moment. There's a lot of for lease signs in the eastern suburbs as well, and they are not being leased very quickly. Full stop, new line. I think for a two-bedder unit in Bondi, you used to pay about $800 a week for a fairly crappy one. Now it's down to $700 or even $650 per week. It's still a ridiculous amount of money for a shoebox. With probably 50 or 60 partying tourists living next door. And they don't stop partying. They drink, they just make all these noises. Unbelievable. Lucky we don't live near there. But. Okay, now let's turn ourselves to xmj.asx new line. And I'm hoping this is going to be a little ray of sunshine in the gloom. And you'll have to go surfing in Kangaroo Island if you live in Adelaide, and that's a bloody long way away to go. So, what are you thinking? I now live in Mornington Peninsula. No, it's still reasonable. Anyway, it's just the water's cold in Adelaide too. The materials index we can see isn't as weak, obviously, as the financials, but it still had a little bit of a breakdown today. Full stop, new line. I think you'll find that this will be going flat line more and not breaking down. Full stop, new line. Sam's saying you can get 10 acres, 25 kilometres away from the CBD for 435,000. York Peninsula has good waves. Has it really? Okay. Okay. How far is that from Adelaide? Maybe we'll all go there. Just got to put a house on it, 25 k's away. 2.5 hours. Phillip Island's better. It's about an hour and a half from Melbourne City. So you can actually live in Phillip Island and work in the city pretty easily, as long as you get out on the Monash before about 5:30 if you're going into the city, or before 6:30, then you'll get there okay. But then who wants to work in the city? So let's have a look at what BHP in the US did. BHP.US, BHP.US. I'm mad. I need to get wet almost every day, otherwise I go nuts. BHP backing off a bit, hasn't shown any sign of really getting ahead. And its risk is a break below $44. Full stop, new line. BHP.ASX, new line. Investors time frame, Colin. This is still not behaving very strongly, and a breakdown below $28.81 would not be healthy. Full stop, new line. That's where your stop loss is if you are still holding on against my better advice as an investor in BHP. Full stop, new line. Intermediate time frame, Colin. We can see that when you turn it into a closing price chart, there was still volume that was heavy on the down close, and it's still not living well. Maybe if it gets above $31, it will change. Full stop, new line. Traders time frame, Colin. Really above $30.40 might be useful. Still, I expect it to track sideways a bit, definitely perform a bit better than the banks for the shorter term, full stop, new line. And it's in neutral, really, full stop, new line. Rio.ASX, new line. Investors time frame, Colin. Simply still sad, simply should find its way to $50 at some stage, full stop, new line. Intermediate time frame, Colin. A break below $54.65 would be useful for a movement, further movement down. At the moment, it is hanging on and probably might visit towards $56.40 just to help people get out of jail. Full stop, new line. Traders time frame, Colin. We see a little bit of a strength today. Versus the rest of the market. But if it slips a cog, it'll slip a cog below $54.50 and roll over, full stop, new line. At the moment, it's just in a correction. And topside area, $56.90 if it could get up there in a bigger way, full stop, new line. FMG.ASX, new line. Investors time frame, Colin. This is still not strong on the investors time frame, even though it does have some big support on a closing price basis. On the monthly chart around here, full stop, new line. We have some big targets at $1.69 that you might consider looking to buy in there if Twiggy can actually get himself organised and make sure the other banks, the other colluding iron ore miners who are acting like banks can stop their production, full stop, new line. If that breaks, then expect $1.20. Intermediate time frame, Colin. Getting above $2 is the important thing, and currently it's behaving better than BHP.ASX and better than Rio.ASX, full stop, new line. It had some good volume in last week, and a kick above $2 again should see it trying towards the $2.31 area, full stop, new line. Iron ore has been continuing to be moving up a little bit, Sam, full stop, new line. Traders time frame, Colin. We see some okay volume on the rally. It's a little bit disturbing that it hasn't gone above $1.95. That might be a short-term trigger for a rally towards the $2.25 area. Full stop new line. Stop loss if buying can be at $1.80. Full stop new line. XEJ.ASX new line. We can see that this has gotten a little bit weaker because it was at the top end. It probably comes back down to 11,200, maybe a little bit lower. Full stop new line. On the monthly time frame, we don't see much movement at all. It's really just still in that big range that it's been for the last 4 months. Full stop new line. Pick an energy stock. OSH. OSH.ASX new line. Investors time frame, Colin. On the investors time frame, it is pretty likable, and you can buy it with a stop loss below $6.80. Full stop new line. Short-term target towards $8.37. If it can clear through $8.50, then expect a push towards $8.98. Full stop new line. Intermediate time frame, Colin. We see on the intermediate time frame, stop losses at $7.50 if you are long, potential towards $8.50. It's probably being pushed down a little bit by what's going on in the rest of the index, the Australian overall market. If you are long, your stop can be underneath $7.80. Full stop new line if you wish it to have a tighter stop loss. And we notice volume on the rally has been fairly good. Full stop new line. Traders time frame, Colin, pulling back in this time frame, and you might expect to buy it either at $8.90 or at $7.85. Sorry for those levels. $7.90 or $7.85. Stop loss would need to be a stop loss if wanting to buy would be at $7.58. Full stop new line. Your hope would be $8.50. Target. XGD.ASX new line. It seriously does not know what to do with itself. Comma. I, as you know, don't particularly love it at the moment. and I would be quite negative on a break below 24.50 full stop new line. Pick a gold stock. NCM.ASX new line. NCM.ASX new line. Investors time frame, Colin. This has been nudging some old tops and not getting above it on the longer term time frame, and it's also got some evil points coming down towards it at this time full stop new line. So it's probably better to pull your head in if you are long NCM on the intermediate time frame. On the longer term time frame, you could probably leave it until it closed below $13.37 full stop new line. Intermediate time frame, Colin, we have a double top and a new breakdown on last week's low, so that's not the best time to do it. I buy some NCM, full stop new line. We do see some good volume in the rally, and so if you are long and you don't want to stop yourself out, have your stop at $13.50 full stop new line. Traders time frame, Colin. Traders time frame, Colin. We see a gap down today, and it's currently finding support at the $14 mark. So if you wanted to have a buy at this in the hope that this is just a silly panic and I'm an idiot, your stop loss would be at $14.05 new line. XHJ.ASX new line. On the monthly chart, we can see that the XHJ made a slight new high this month against last month, but it's back down really to where it opened at or a little bit below it, full stop new line. It won't take much for this to break last month's low at 19,000, and that may disturb some of the fund managers who have been sitting lazily long in the healthcare index, full stop new line. If it does want to have a big shove to the downside, then maybe it's around about 16,000 as the best target, full stop new line. For the last 4 years, nothing like that has happened to the healthcare index, full stop new line. So it will not be expected, and everyone says expect the unexpected, full stop new line. On the weekly chart, we can see so far, last week had a new weekly low, this week's had a new weekly low because today has broken down hard. And the next support is at 19,033, full stop, new line. Below that, we can see here on the MACD and a lot of other little indicators, we can start to see that this is rolling a little bit to the downside for the first time in over a year. Stop your line. So there's a few signs of danger in the healthcare area. Full stop, new line. RMD.ASX, new line. Investors time frame, Colin. I have talked about $7.87 as the potential area for a decline to come down to for a buying event. Full stop, new line. Another area is $8.58. Full stop, new line. Intermediate time frame, Colin. We can see that it has started to break down on the weekly charts and has put itself short. Full stop, new line. So it's not the best one to buy until it hits the right levels. Full stop, new line. We can see heavy volume this week as well. Full stop, new line. Last. We also notice these targets. If you are shorting this, then maybe you could have a stop loss at $9.70 and your hopes at $7.87. Full stop, new line. Traders time frame, Colin. We see a next target at $8.92. If you are long, you can have, and you want, sorry, if you are short and you want a stop loss, $9.43 would be the stop loss zone, and target $8.92, and dream at $7.87. Full stop, new line. Volume has been reasonably heavy to the downside, not incredibly destructive, but heavy-ish. Full stop, new line. XPJ.ASX, new line. Now this is the one I would like to think would cop it most about lack of high interest rate or lack of low interest rates. Full stop, new line. When we canvass the higher time frame, we notice that there are two new monthly lows that have happened. Over the last 3 months, full stop, new line. This is something that we have not noticed on the daily charts, and it's one of the reasons why we need to look at the higher time frames, full stop, new line. So the property index is sliding a little bit, and the preferred target would be 1157 if it was to continue to slide on this higher time frame. Full stop, new line. On the daily time frame, we have some support around the 1235 area, and the best thing we can think of is hold your horses in the property index. Full stop, new line. Pick a property index stock. WFD, WFD, Westfield new line. Investors time frame, Colin. Investors time frame, Colin. Still living inside what I would construe as a bit of a triangle with a negative bent. It's had a new monthly low last month and increasing volume as it's been rolling over a little bit. Full stop, new line. The fear of God starts into it around about $9.35 below there. Full stop, new line. Intermediate time frame, we see a reasonable hit on volume. The stop would be above $10.10. And $9.02 would be a good area for a pickup or a target if you were shorting it. Full stop, new line. Traders time frame, Colin. $8.92 is the target on the downside. Rallies to $9.86 would be helping you get out of jail. There is a bit of support around $9.36 as well. It's not new line. So a better idea is to leave off, and we can see the ADX is rising out of a low base, and so there might be a pretty good trend on the short-term basis. Traders time frame for this full stop, new line. XTJ.ASX, telecoms index, new line. Still not exhibiting much strength, and that's largely because with the help of TLS.ASX being weak, targeting to 2110, full stop, new line. TLS.ASX has been behaving differently to previous dividend patterns, full stop, new line. I think this is due to potential higher interest rates, making Telstra becoming less attractive, full stop, new line. But then everyone thinks interest rates are going down still, full stop, new line. Investors time frame, Colin. What we can see is that if it breaks down by another 4 cents, it will make a new monthly low, full stop, new line. Post-dividend new monthly lows generally happen for only 2 months after, or 1 month after Telstra pays the dividend. So we're in a time frame where we might be repeating this, and it might get a chance to buy up, full stop, new line. But there's something telling me that this is not the same, full stop, new line. It got close to my massive, well, it got just a little bit through my big target at $6.66, and so far it's failed to rally above there, full stop, new line. It deserves, in fact, needs a decent pullback. And a decent pullback would be down towards $5, maybe $5.30. XSO.ASX, Small Ordinaries Index, new line. The Small Ordinaries Index, we see it's not had any fun today, and it probably will try 21.18. I did think it might get to 22.28, but 21.18 or even 20.41 would be a good place for it to get down to if the overall index is falling, full stop, new line. Top 50 stocks questions, new line. Jonathan, an LPHR is a low probability, high reward trade, which means that if you don't get stopped out, you'll make some good money, full stop, new line. You'll be highly rewarded for the risk that you take. AGL.ASX, new line. Investors time frame, Colin. Sadly, this hasn't gotten outside of the big range, which has its top end at $16 and its bottom end at either $14 or at $12.50, full stop, new line. At the moment, it's probably suffering from the fact that everything else is weak, and I would imagine coming back down to $14.84 would be normal for it, full stop, new line. Maybe even $14.60, full stop, new line. Intermediate time frame, Colin, we see a breakdown of a new low so far. And so it's best to stay away, full stop, new line. We have not been triggered an entry on our PHG trade. that we had in the books, so we're happy about that. Full stop, new line. Traders time frame, Colin. I don't really like this below $14.80, so have a stop loss there if you are long. Full stop, new line. CSL.ASX, new line. Investors time frame, Colin. We all remember the expanding triangle that this is in. It's got up to the top end of the expanding triangle, and now it's rolling a little bit to the downside. Full stop, new line. So far, volume has not been heavy. There might be a bit more volume if it breaks $90, but this has a marvelous propensity to break a new low and then be bought back. Full stop, new line. For that reason, I'm suspicious of it. Normally, you would hope that it would come back down to just below $80 or as low as $76.37. Full stop, new line. Sadly, CSL.ASX is not a normal stock. Intermediate time frame, Colin. We see on this time frame, if it does break $90, expect $87.55 to $87.26. Full stop, new line. The other area would be $84.06. Full stop, new line. Traders time frame, Colin. $90.51 is the target. We do see some reasonable volume on the downside, so we won't be in a rush to buy it unless it takes out $94.15. We'll stop your line. And if you wish to have a go, you would buy at $90.51 with a stop loss below $89.90. We'll stop your line. If that fails, check in again at $84.06. We'll stop your line. Traders time frame. CTX.ASX, Caltex, new line. Investors time frame, Colin. $30.40 is probably the best idea that I can give you on this time frame for stop me line. Caltex has been a darling and it's been rallying quite well, but something hit it on the head pretty seriously in terms of volume last month for stop me line. A quick break below $33.80 yields $30.40 for stop me line. It is overbought, no doubt about it, and it needs to correct to somewhere, full stop me line. An even deeper retracement is still possible at $25.21, full stop me line. Intermediate time frame, Colin. I don't know what that gap down was all about, but $30.40 does appear to be the right area, full stop me line. If it can get itself above $35.78, then it's not declining and you could buy it with a stop loss below $34.65, hoping for $37.85 for stop me line. But at the moment, it doesn't look that positive for it, full stop me line. You need to wait for the other shoe to drop, full stop me line. So Chevron sold out their stake in Caltex. And they would know a lot more than we would know, full stop me line. So it's better to stay away from Caltex, full stop me line. Your get out of jail card is to $35.68 if you get it, full stop me line. Intermediate time frame, Colin. Currently this is trending down and a break below $34 would cause a further panic, full stop me line. You may see Chevron come back in around that $25.20 area, full stop me line. WOW.ASX, new line. Investors time frame, Colin. I still don't like this stock unless it's at $25.04, full stop me line, or if it can manage to close above $29.50, full stop me line. Intermediate time frame, Colin. Intermediate time frame, Colin. The target is to $27.82. It's not far from that. If you want a dagger catch, you can try there with a stop loss below $27.50. But generally, the $25 area is my preferred point, full stop me line. If you are shorting this, your stop loss can be at $29.35, full stop me line. Traders time frame, Colin. Rolling over to the downside, the good thing is there should be some divergence on the next point. So short term, that $27.82 would be a nice place to buy back your shorts. And possibly go long with that stop loss below $27.50. Full stop your line. David, that is interesting if you line it up with the price levels that I've just given you. I'd certainly prefer to see it at the $25 area. But the $27.82 is something we've been looking at for a while. So on that time frame, it would probably make some sense. I'll have a look at that with when it actually topped there. So it topped in 38.80 on the, if that's correct, 38.80. Yeah, so it's not bad down there a year later. We'll think about it when it gets to the right price levels. Small and mid-cap stocks. Questions, new line. ATU.ASX, new line. No more questions, thanks. ATU.ASX, new line. Investors time frame, Colin. Probably a good idea to buy this, and if you bought it, have your stop loss at $1.16. Full stop your line. Where would you buy it? Question mark. You'd buy a break above $1.40. Hoping for a push towards $1.90. Full stop your line. Intermediate time frame, Colin. We can see that if you were buying this, you can have your stop loss below $1.16. You can hope for $1.45. We'll stop your line. If you wish to have a tighter stop loss, have it at $1.26 stop close only. We'll stop your line. Volume over the last little while has not been bad. We'll stop your line. If you're buying it shorter term, then don't think about too much upside potential. We'll stop your line. Traders time frame, Colin. We see volume on the downside was a little bit high. So again, what I'd prefer is a break above $1.37 to buy this. Your stop loss would be around the $1.22 stop close only if you bought this. We'll stop your line. It's a bit of a mixed bag, but I don't mind it if it gets some strength. We'll stop your line. BRG.ASX, new line. Investors time frame, Colin. At the moment, we would only expect around the $8.56 to $8.80 area, full stop, new line. Currently, it wishes to go long on a kick above $7.78, full stop, new line. If it does, then you can buy it with the stop loss below $7.09, full stop, new line. Intermediate time frame, Colin. At the moment, it's boxed in between $7.09 and $7.76. So the best thing you can think of is to either sell it at $7.76 with a quick stop and reverse to take it up to $8.56 with a stop loss below $7.55. Full stop, new line, or new line, buying it down to $7.09 with a stop loss below $7. Full stop, new line, and you would be hoping for $7.76. Full stop, new line. CAR.ASX, new line. Now, the disturbing thing about this is that it lost all of the data that has gone into it. Because it's been rebadged or renamed. This is why we have two separate sets of data, full stop, new line. Investors time frame, Colin. It is my contention that because, say for example, you can buy a Toyota with 1% interest rate and a Mercedes with 0% interest rates, that there are too many cars being sold in Australia at this point. Full stop, new line. When I was in Perth, I was speaking with a gentleman who has a friend who is heavily involved in the motor trade / finance industry in Perth, and he said they are selling so many cars it's not funny on finance. Full stop, new line. He used the words, there is plenty of money around, full stop, new line. That means there are plenty of people borrowing money to buy cars, full stop, new line. And when you buy a car, they do not discount much if you buy using your own money. Using finance, and they don't like you if you buy using your own money. Full stop, new line. So you get a discount by using your own money. It doesn't cost you anything to get a higher price except 0%. Full stop, new line. What I'm trying to say is there are probably too many cars on the road, and we will be full of Mercedes-Benz, 0% interest rate cars, full stop, new line. second-hand market for a long time, BMWs, Audis, and as people's ability to repay these loans becomes harder, they still cost you because you've got to pay the debt. I suspect we're seeing a sharp decline going to come in carsales.com, and I would not be touching it, particularly if it broke down below $9.50, targeting $8, full stop me line. That's me. Cam is saying all the dealerships get a commission for selling cars on finance from the finance company, and that is another income all dealers do not talk about. It's called a kickback. Full stop, new line. Intermediate time frame, Colin. What we see is heavy volume on this breakdown last week, and we would expect that to continue. This week, it has continued, full stop, new line. At the moment, if you got a rally towards $10.27, you would think to get out of jail if you own this, full stop, new line. And your stop loss, if you are long, should be below $9.70, full stop, new line. HGG.ASX, new line. On the weekend, I believe it was in the Western Australian or something, I saw some public recommendations for HGG.ASX, full stop, new line. This would lead me to believe that we should not be buying it at this point. And when we look at the chart, we see it has had a good run, but it's backed off this month off the $6 area, full stop, new line. Investors time frame, Colin. On this time frame, I would suspect that it should be forming a congestion correction area that could bring it back down to around about $4.90. We'll start new line. This would make sense if the stock market is in more of a correction, as I believe this is an investment company. Full stop, new line. The correct technical retracement would be at $4.94 as opposed to my guess of $4.90. We'll stop new line. Intermediate time frame, Colin, we saw a breakdown below $5.41 is clicking it lower, looking for $4.94, full stop new line. We also see a heavy week of a reversal style last week, full stop new line, and a gap lower this week. So your get out of jail card is at $5.56 if you are wanting to close out your positions there and hope for $4.94 to rebuy, full stop new line. Traders time frame, Colin. Again, heavy volume on Friday to the downside, coupled by a gap today, which has put it short. You would be looking for $5.59 or $5.55 to get out of jail if you get it, full stop new line. At the moment, there is a bit of support hanging around $5.35. So if you don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater just yet, wait till $5.30, full stop new line. When I see a stock recommended heavily in the popular press, I think it's over, full stop new line. Usually the people who are recommending that, if they're seen as fund managers, may already be very long that stock and are just pushing their own barrow, full stop new line. SGN.ASX, new line. STW Communications, new line. Investors time frame, Colin. I am told this pays a big juicy dividend, somewhere in the order of 10%, full stop new line. Yet this has been falling out of bed pretty seriously on the monthly chart, full stop new line. I would like this if it got above 73 cents, full stop new line. It would be better medium term if it got above 67 cents, full stop new line. It is now on an 80% retracement of its entire range. And as Cam is reminding me, it's paid its dividend on the 1st of April at 3.5%, full stop new line. But I'm told also that it is expected to pay its dividend again of a similar level, full stop new line. There is some support around the 52 cents for this, full stop new line. So if you're thinking of buying it, you might have a chance at 52 cents with a stop loss, say, below 44 cents on a long-term basis, full stop new line. I believe there has also been some management issues with this, full stop new line. Management versus owners or something like that, full stop new line. The next big target area is down towards 38 cents. And if it broke above 65 cents on the intermediate term, I'd start to think nicely about it for a rally towards 76 cents, full stop new line. Something is a bit odd about this, full stop new line. Traders time frame, Colin, a break above 62 cents would be healthier, but particularly above 65 cents, and then you'd be looking for 68 to 70 cents full stop new line. And your stop loss if buying would be at 60 cents full stop new line. Okay, we'll go through Profit Hunter Group Trades Review now. AGL we haven't done anything with. CDA, Codan, that may be being affected by the overall market now. Yeah, brought down a bit. We have our stop at $1.03 stop close only. And let's leave that as is, but we'll bring up our stop loss to price stop to 99 in case it really catches the food. FMG, we're long from $1.89 on one half and open. I think when it opened then at that 189, so we're long at 181, I believe. Let's see if we got long on the other half. No, we haven't. We're still waiting for that to happen. Volume to the downside on Friday wasn't bad. We might buy more on a break above $1.94, or just wait for that, which was equals to 181. NPL, we're looking to buy more. We're long at $2.31 with a break above 238. Now, forgive me, but I believe it's in the top 50 stocks at the moment, so it's been incorporated in. And so that's worrying me. I didn't realize it had been put into the top 50. So basically on NPL, we are now out. And it wasn't that much fun. We got 1 cent out of it. I did think we'd get a little bit more out of it, the fund managers buying into it. We're out of NPL. And if you're not already out, get out at $2.29. It will probably go down to $2. NAB, we were stopped out of there. This is ages ago. We were out of that. I don't know why that's on the list. That's out as well. We were stopped out of Westpac 38.89 or 38.90, which was ages ago. So just stop. We don't have many stocks on board. I'll talk to you later, and thank you. It's been a bit of a long one, but we're doing a few different things at the moment. We'll probably get more into the routine. So we could expect $2.11 or something on Medibank Private, as it's now in the system and fund managers now all own it. And that was probably that rally there, which wasn't as strong as I would have liked. Thanks, everyone. Have a good day.